Meet Bill Schnobelen, a man who lives in the depths of his own imagination. In this dark crevice of his imagination are all sorts of monsters lurking about. The human nature has always been a mystery to many. Those who seem to be so different from us, those who believe in strange and bizarre rituals, who believe in strange, bizarre things, period, have been perceived as being malicious, dark, evil. The reality is, it's just different. That's all. Let's explore these dark crevices of this man's imagination. Our next stop, the batshit crazy zone.
You're traveling through to another dimension, a dimension of not only paranoia and delusion, but of idiocy. A journey into a wondrous land whose boundaries are that of pure ignorance. Your next stop, the batshit crazy zone.
There is a very wide range of beliefs, ideas, philosophies, even within the pagan occult umbrella. And this is important to understand. It is like me calling you as a Christian a Unitarian or a Presbyterian. You would correct me and say, I'm not a Lutheran, or I'm not a Presbyterian, or I'm not a Unitarian, I am a blah, blah, blah Christian. So there are different categories, and you have different beliefs and different things that distinguish you from another denomination of Christianity. So it's important for us to understand this, and for me to call you by your correct term, and for you to call me by my correct term. And also to understand that not all Presbyterians and not all Lutherans and not all Christians and not all Catholics are all lumped up in the same thing and have the same beliefs and run around in like a hive mind. Same thing with witches and pagans and occultists. We are not all together on the same page, and we don't all run around and think in a hive mind.
Shalom, brothers and sisters.
Shalom.
This is Dr. William Schnobelen coming to you from With One Accord Ministries. And we have a brief prayer update, warning about an upcoming satanic holiday, Llamas Tide.
Not all occultists, not all pagans, not all witches, and definitely not all Satanists will celebrate Lunasa, Lammas, or Lunasa. There are different ways that each one of these, if they do celebrate that, will celebrate it differently. It just so happens, as for atheistic Satanists, that they do not celebrate this particular holiday. One of the things that I'm definitely going to be hammering into these people who I'm doing these video responses to is that we are not all one amorphous glob of a hive mind. We are all individuals within a particular group, and we don't all think the same.
Which is on July 31st to August 1st, with the usual orb of a day or so around each way.
Different groups, different paths, may or may not celebrate Lunasa, Lammas, or Lunasa. If they do, they probably have their own way of observing it. They may observe it on the actual date of one of these 4 fire festivals, which Lunasa is, which falls on July 31st, August 1st. Now, if it so happens that, let's say, a coven or a group can get together to celebrate on that date, they may do that. But chances are they might not be able to, so they might pick a date that is close to it. Some other groups may practice on the particular date that is closest to the full moon of it, or according to astrological means. So it really depends upon when they celebrate this particular holiday, or any holiday for that matter.
Where the spiritual warfare increases.
There is no spiritual warfare. You can prepare for war. You can do all you want. You can don your armor. You can sharpen your weapons. You can prepare for a war all you want. But on that battlefield, you're going to be alone with all your other fellow Christians. And you're not going to have an enemy, because we don't care. We're not involved in this battle. So go ahead, prepare for it, but we're not going to be there, okay? Just letting you know.
And we recommend people double down and pray more urgently. But before I get into the specifics of that, I just want to address a larger problem within the body. And that's what I call modern day creeping Sadduceeism.
So I'm just going to fast forward, because he's talking about the Sadducees and all this stuff related to the Bible. I don't have a problem with any of this, so I'm just going to fast forward it to later on in the video. If you want to watch the whole video, a link will be down below.
Okay, end of little sermonette. Let me just tell you about Llamas Tide. Llamas Tide is another feast. It's either called Lammas, or in like the old Gaelic or Welsh, it's Llamas. And essentially, it's one of the 8 major festivals of both witchcraft and Satanism.
There's 8 festivals in a solar year. 4 of them are what we call fire festivals, or greater fire festivals. One of them happens to be Lunasa, or Lammas. So that is usually the terms that are used. In, I believe it's Irish Gaelic, it is Lunasa. For Welsh, I'm not too sure, but I will look it up and I will put it down below here. And it is one of the 4 major fire festivals, and then the 2 solstices and the 2 equinoxes are considered to be the lesser fire festivals. So just clarifying that.
And again, I want to clarify that what I'm about to say is not true of Wiccans, of white witches. They do keep this feast, but in a more benign way. You know, they do not do animal or human sacrifices. Obviously they're lost people.
We're not lost. We just took another path, and our path happens to be the path that fits us. You have your path. That's fine. We took another turn. We're not lost. We're perfectly happy going the way that we're going. Thank you very much.
Who need Yahuwah and Yahushua, but they are not in any way doing these kind of evil things. But the Satanists and the hardcore evil people in the upper branches of all of this that are behind the facade of Wicca.
Let me tell you, no. Like I said earlier, there's a whole wide range of various people who practice the occult and especially pagan religions, witchcraft, Satanism, and all this stuff. Every single one of them are individuals that have their own beliefs, their own ideas, and whatnot.
The upper level people, this is a season where there is sexual sacrifice being done to young girls or women from 7 to 17?
Absolutely not. If anyone is having sex with an underaged kid, under the age of 16, 17, depending upon whatever law is in the state that they live in, that's rape. That is statutory rape. That is child molestation. And we report those people to the police. So we're not above the law.
And it's also a time of animal sacrifice. And these things are done to please the false Elohim, Satan.
We're the only thing that comes to my mind is like Hollywood movies from like the 70s of like these people going around, these teenagers that get caught up in some kind of a cult, and then they go down into some kind of a basement where you can hear dripping water and rats running around, and they're chanting, they're all in black robes, and there's flames all around, and there's a giant pentagram because it's the only thing they know how to make an occult symbol for is a pentagram. Well, if it's going to be a cult, put a pentagram there. That's obvious that it's an occult thing. And then they have the naked body, and she's writhing and screaming and everything, and then they're doing some kind of a sacrifice. That's not how it actually is, okay?
And all of the different Elohim that are involved in it. So we need to pray against this. We need to come against the principalities and powers of Lammas and against witchcraft and against Satanism for the next few days. And to realize that the spiritual warfare, which has pretty much been unprecedented levels of intensity the last month or two.
What? What are you talking about? Unprecedented levels. Do you go to your wall where you have a thermostat and right next to it you have the level of spiritual warfare and you look at it and you go, oh no, it's in the red, it's in the unprecedented levels.
Are going to amp up for the next few days. So gird up your armor, raise up your shield of faith and the large shield of favor and your sword of the Spirit, and go out there and both protect your family, both.
Yes, strap on your +5 holy armor. Grab your shield of protection, grab your holy sword, and go out there and charge into battle. Don't forget your elven wizard and your dwarven hero, because you're going to need them for this big, huge battle that nobody else is joining except you.
And especially if you have young daughters, please keep an eye on them over the next few days. Please pray over them every time you let them out of the house, and take this stuff seriously, because the favorite thing that Satanists have is to kidnap a Christian young lady or young girl who's still has her virginity.
Where the hell are you getting this from? There's no Satanists waiting around. You know how hard it is to come by a virgin anyhow nowadays? There is no human sacrifice, this is that 1970s movie in the cave. There is no Satanist running around looking for human sacrifices, and a virgin is much better, and they're running around looking for them. It's not happening, Bill Snuffleblin, whatever your name is. It's not happening, okay? And if it is, if you ever come across it, you have any knowledge of it whatsoever, report it to the authorities. Because that shit is not okay.
Because that's what they love. That's what a sexual sacrifice is. It's a deflowering of an innocent young woman.
How would you know? How would you know? If you were walking down the street and you saw a girl walking by, how in the world would you know she's a virgin or not? Come on, Bill. You are so... This is stupid. This is just absolutely ludicrous.
So pray against these things, come against the spirit of Lammas, come against the spirit of Lugnasad, and we have a prayer on our website about this that's called, Prayer Against Dark Angels and Dark Seasons, and use that prayer and just smite these things, hip and thigh. Don't take any spiritual prisoners at all. Ask Abba Father to just lay waste to their armies and declare victory in the name of Yahushua, in the name of his cross and his shed blood and his resurrection over these things.
Go ahead, run out onto the battlefield, do whatever you want to do, get ready to smite and smote or whatever it is you want to do. Again, we don't give a flying fuck, okay? We're going to be out there in the woods having some fun. You go do whatever it is you want to do.
And I would pray that you would do this, and that you would again share this video with other people you might know that are intercessors, that are prayer warriors, and spread the word. Please, this is deadly serious stuff, especially for our young people. And intercede for your family and intercede for your community at the same time. Okay.
So this is the end of this video. Thank you so much, and blessed be. Oh, come on. This is so stereotypical. Not only do we commit human sacrifice, but we want to get a virgin. Yes, of course, we want to get a virgin. Yes, we want to get a virgin for the sacrifice, the great sacrifice that is going to happen on Lammas night. Yes, I can see it now. her body naked, bride, virgin body on the altar.